The beginning phase of working out is always the hardest. If you're watching this video, you've probably already had your new year, new me moment, or your I'm really gonna do it this time moment, I'm really gonna get fit. And yet, well, here we are. You clicked on this video. But today is where things change because I'm breaking down 6 science-backed strategies that actually make working out stick. These completely change the game for me, especially because they are based on actual behavioral psychology, not just some motivation and willpower. Working out consistently will change your life. Yes, it'll help get you fit, looking good, but it'll also just change your life. So let's dive into what really works. Hey friend, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Jillz and I help women step into their power, tap into their divine feminine and become their best self, live their best life, live their dream life. So if that's something you want to do, you should subscribe and stick around. And before we get into it, just want to let you know I have my new weekly newsletter. It's called The Dream Life Digest. It lands in your inbox for free every Tuesday. And it's where I share behind the scenes a little bit more on manifestation, money, feminine energy, life, everything. So the link to get on the list is down in the description. So I have been working out consistently now for well over a year. And when I say that I've been working out consistently, I mean that I have literally not missed one single workout in over a year. And this is coming from someone who for like 8 years prior couldn't stick to anything fitness related in her life for more than a few weeks. So what changed? I figured out that the problem was never really my discipline or my motivation, it was my approach. And once I started actually following the research and taking a new approach, that's when things shifted. So let's talk about the 6 science-backed strategies to start working out and get fit and finally actually make it stick for you too. Okay, so this is one of the biggest myths that we have to break right away before we dive into everything else. The truth is that you're not gonna have motivation to work out all the time. Maybe you'll get a little burst in the beginning, sure, but over time that motivation will fade and it's not consistent. And it really sucks when you're at that point where you've been working out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden, no motivation. That excitement in the beginning fades and all your good habits go out the window. So how do you fix it? Well, let's break down how real behavior psychology works. Most motivation does not just come out of thin air. Motivation is a result of something else. Most people think it's, okay, motivation, which leads to action, which leads to momentum. When really, 99% of the time, these two right here are switched. It's action that leads to motivation that leads to momentum. And then that momentum creates more action, more motivation, more momentum, right? And you get into this loop. James Clear calls this the physics of productivity, where doing something generates more energy and more motivation to keep doing it. And sure, we can get motivation from a few other ways as well. You know, watching an inspiring video, looking in the mirror and be like, oh my God, my arms are getting so toned. You know, seeing progress is huge motivation, but that stuff is not reliable. It's not consistent. The only source of truly reliable motivation comes from action. We so often want to feel one way first before we show up that way. But the real truth is that we have to show up that way to feel that way. Or put more plainly, you don't need to feel like it to do it, you need to do it to feel like it. Think about it, even doing something very small like putting on your workout shoes is enough to break that inertia and create momentum. Or like if you say, I'm just gonna do a quick 5-minute workout. Once those 5 minutes are done, most people wanna keep going. Most people have some sort of internal desire after those 5 minutes that makes them wanna keep going. So your goal isn't to wait until you feel ready. Your goal isn't to try to muster up some motivation every single day. Your goal is to make it easy to take action, which then creates motivation. And so almost everything we're going to talk about in this video is about making it easier to take action, creating that motivation loop, creating that momentum loop, turning you into a workout girly with a bangin' bod. So with that said, number 2, if you want to be consistent, make it ridiculously easy to begin. If you want to work out Monday through Friday every day, make it ridiculously easy to do so. And here's what I mean, okay? BJ Fogg's behavior model, stay with me here, is a framework that explains what causes behavior change. And he basically has a little formula. And so he says B equals MAP, which means behavior equals motivation plus ability plus prompt. So if you want to change your behavior or do a certain behavior, these 3 things are what's going to decide that. So when motivation is low, which it will be sometimes, you need to make the ability super high and the prompt obvious. So what does it mean to make the ability high? It means removing as many obstacles as possible. Instead of having to dig through your dresser for your workout outfit, it's already laid out on top. Instead of clearing space in your apartment to work out, you already have your little space. Your yoga mat is already out. It's already there waiting for you. Instead of deciding your workout plan for the day, it's already pre-decided. No thinking. All you have to do is just show up. So for you specifically, in that formula, what is going to make your ability high? One of the biggest hidden barriers that makes your ability low is decision fatigue. Research shows that every decision you make, even small ones like what to wear to the gym or what type of workout to do that day, drains you. And those little things add up and they make the overall task feel a lot harder. Your brain is wired to take the path of least resistance. So what usually ends up happening is you don't work out. The fewer choices you have to make, the easier it is to follow through. The fewer choices you have to make, the higher your ability becomes. So the next part in that formula besides the ability was the prompt. So you have to make the prompt obvious, which means creating visual cues to remind you to work out. So what prompts you to work out? Your workout clothes staring at you from the foot of your bed, your sneakers by the door, your water bottle on the counter, your workout time slotted onto your Google Calendar and it gives you a reminder 30 minutes before it's supposed to happen. These act like little nudges saying like, hey, come on, it's time to move. And when you do this, this helps make the action as easy as possible. And that is the goal, to help make the action as easy as possible. Because the hardest part about exercising is usually not the actual exercising, it's the split-second decision that you make whether you're going to do it or not. One of the biggest barriers for me, and that made my ability very low, was that I didn't really know how to work out. You know, I've done a lot of sports. I was very athletic as a kid, but now as an adult, I never knew how to work out. I struggled to be consistent because it made the action harder to execute. I didn't have a clear plan. I didn't know what to do. So I've been using an app called Trainwell, which they are kindly sponsoring this video, by the way. So I've been using Trainwell for well over a year. And once I did, that's when I finally became consistent with my workouts. And according to Fogg's behavior equation, it made my ability to take action so much higher. So if you're unfamiliar, Trainwell is a one-on-one personal training service. So it's an app that connects you to a personal trainer. It's not AI. You're working with a real live human where you talk to them, you tell them your workout goals, where you're starting out at, what equipment you have access to if you've had any injuries, and they create a personalized workout plan for you week to week. And you can message them throughout the week too. So like if something felt really great, a workout you loved, you can tell them that. Or if something felt a little off or you had a little pain, you can tell them that. And so they'll adjust and tweak everything for you as needed. So through Trainwell, you get a personal trainer just for you, but it's way more affordable than working with someone in person. So my personal trainer's name is Jill, and I love her. She's awesome. I've been working with her since I started with Trainwell. But since having Jill, I don't have to waste energy choosing a workout. It's already planned for me in the app. She tells me exactly what to do based off of the goals we already talked about together and, you know, everything that she knows about me. That's one less barrier between me and getting started. And for me personally, that was a really big challenge for me. So it's helped to eliminate my decision fatigue and increase my ability. I used to waste so much time and energy. I'd get to the gym and I'd be like, okay, what should I do today? Should I do cardio? Should I do strength? Upper body? Lower body? Okay, let me find a YouTube video to follow along with. No, not that one. That one seems boring. And then I'd already start to feel checked out before I even started. But now that whole decision-making process is just gone because she does it. And it doesn't matter if you have access to a gym or you're just working out at home, they make it work no matter what you have, what equipment you have. So like I said, I have not missed one workout day in over a year. And part of that is because she has made my workouts able to be done at home. It's really easy. And even when I go on vacation where I don't have access to any of my equipment or any of my weights or anything, she will change my workouts for that week so I can do it just like in my hotel room. Do you see how much that reduces the barrier to getting started and increases your ability? So Jill, my lovely trainer, has made it convenient and personalized for me. I know what I'm doing every day, every week, and she is always there to answer questions if I have them, or if I just tell her, hey, I liked this thing, or I didn't really like this, or I'm feeling really tired this week. She makes everything doable based off of the equipment I have and how I'm feeling. And it's just easy. I press start and I do it. It changed the game for me. So if you're finally ready to commit to working out and to fitness and exercise, just give Trainwell a try because you get 14 days free using my link in the description. There's literally no reason not to try. It's 14 days of free personalized training. And when you sign up, you'll take a quick quiz. So it pairs you with the perfect trainer for you. And if for some reason you guys just like aren't a match, you can switch anytime. So click the link below to find your perfect trainer and get 14 days of free training. The whole point is that that the harder you make the actual act of working out, the less likely you are to do it, right? Common sense. But without that action, there's no perpetual motivation or momentum that will keep you going. So when you have no motivation, you need to make the ability high. Now, you want to know what else makes you fall off your habits? When no one is watching. Here's the thing about human psychology. We have this deep need to act consistently with the commitments we've made, especially when we know that someone else knows about them. If you tell someone that you're gonna do something, your brain will literally experience cognitive dissonance if you don't do it. And our brain hates cognitive dissonance. It's really uncomfortable for us, so it actually pushes you to complete it. There was a study by the American Society of Training and Development, and they discovered that if you just simply told someone about your goal, whether it was a friend or a coworker or a coach or whoever, that simple act, just making it known to another person, bumped your odds of completing that goal by 65%. But when they actually scheduled a check-in with that person, like, hey, I'll text you on Friday to tell you how I did, that success rate shot up to 95%. And that is extremely high. This is called the social facilitation effect in social psychology, and it basically says that we perform better and more reliably when we know we are being observed, even indirectly. It's interesting, if we know that we are being observed and we are being watched and under pressure doing a difficult task, like for example, let's say playing a game of tennis when you're not very good at it, we're more likely to do worse. But when we know we're being observed on something that's more like simple, just like a habit we know we can do, we know we can show up and work out, and just knowing that someone will notice if you skip a habit, or in this case, a workout, completely changes your likelihood of whether you're gonna do it or not. It did for me, and do you know why I've never missed a workout? Because if I did, Jill's gonna know about it and she's gonna follow up with me about it. And I don't want her to do that. If you have someone that's holding you accountable, the truth is that you're just way more likely to do it. Obviously, having Jill, my own personal trainer, is a very clear accountability partner. And that's one of the big benefits of Train Well and having your own personal trainer, because they're like, this is your workout, go do it. If you don't, I will know. But there are other ways to stay accountable too. Like you can find a gym buddy. If you say you're gonna meet your friend at the gym at 7 a.m., you're not gonna go, right? Because then you feel like a crappy friend. Or even if you make a commitment on social media, like you post on Instagram about your workout journey, that's another way that you're gonna be held more accountable. If you really decide for yourself, this is a new habit that I want to stick to, I really want to work out and stick to it this time, become accountable to it with someone else and you will start following through. The research shows this over and over and over again, because honestly, it hurts more to be that person who didn't follow through than to just put on my workout clothes and work out. Now, number 4, here's something else really interesting that the science shows. Perfectionism is a trap. The research shows that perfectionist tendencies are linked to avoidance and inconsistency, right? Because once you feel like you're behind, what do? You quit. There's nothing that keeps us going more than when we feel like we're winning. And there's nothing that makes us want to quit more than when we feel like we are failing and doing a bad job. Your perfectionism is not making you better. It's making you inconsistent. It's making you feel like a failure, which is making you quit. This is where most people sabotage their progress, right? They miss one workout, they feel like a failure and they stop entirely. Or they get their period and it's a very painful one, very crampy, and they're super tired. And so they take 3 days off from the gym and they think, I messed it all up. What's the point? I'm already behind. I failed. If you're anticipating perfection every single day, you will feel like a failure. And when you start feeling like a failure, you will start acting like one. So the point is that you need to anticipate dips in your energy and your ability to perform. Sometimes we get terrible sleep and we feel like crap the next day. Sometimes we have a stressful day at work, or sometimes we get a really painful period. Especially if you have a menstrual cycle, you're not supposed to feel the same every week. You have a month-long hormone cycle. That is your cycle, a month long, like the moon. You're supposed to have shifts in your energy. You're supposed to have ups and downs. That doesn't make you lazy. It makes you a woman. That tough workout that you're doing in your follicular phase should not be the same workout that you're doing in your luteal phase. That's not how female physiology works. My trainer even syncs my workouts to my cycle, and this is really important to me. If you've seen my videos, you know how big I am on cycle syncing. So when I'm in my luteal or menstrual phases, the workouts she has for me are more gentle, more low impact. I scale back a bit without any guilt. She even adds some exercises in there that are less about exercise and more about mobility and posture. And then in my follicular and ovulatory phase, they're a little bit more sweaty. They're a little bit more like me pushing it. So it's completely customized to how I'm actually feeling, not some arbitrary standard of perfect that I will never be able to reach. Because all that arbitrary standard of perfect will do is make you feel like a failure. And once you feel like a failure, you'll start acting like one. Now, let's get more specific. If you're going to become a workout girly, here's what the science says. Science shows that habit formation does not depend on how intense each effort is. Instead, it depends on repetition in a consistent context. In other words, if you want to start working out consistently and make it a real part of your life and a part of your identity, focus on frequency, not intensity. Intensity is actually not important when it comes to habit formation. It's all about frequency, meaning it's much more effective to do a 10-minute workout 4 times a week than do one really intense, sweaty, amazing workout once every 10 days. James Clear calls this casting votes for the identity you want. Every time you show up, even when it's small, you're proving to yourself, hey, I'm someone who works out. And this is the problem a lot of people make when starting out, myself included. I did this over and over again. Once I decided I was gonna work out, I would show up to my workout and I would do it really intense, right? And it would be like a full hour long, because if it wasn't a full hour, if it was only 20 minutes, what's the point? Or at least that's how I used to thought. And I would leave completely exhausted. That intensity doesn't mean that you're taking your new habit more seriously or that you're doing it better than anyone else. And we already know where that all or nothing perfectionism thinking leads you to. You quit. Building a habit, any habit, requires frequency, not intensity. And once I started focusing on frequency, not intensity, that's when everything started to change. That's when my muscles started getting stronger and my endurance started getting better. And that's when working out started to become a more natural, normal part of my life. And think about running, for example, right? When you want to start running, you don't just try to run your hardest every single time. They tell you that you are not supposed to do that. You're supposed to run your hardest like once a week, and then the other days, the other runs that you do are supposed to be gentle and easy. You're just building that base level of endurance. And once you do start focusing on frequency and it just becomes a part of your life, that's what you want. That's when you start to see real change, because you show up at the gym because it's just who you are. You work out because that's just what you do. It's a part of your identity. You're not forcing yourself to, that's just what you do. One of my favorite little parts of the Trainwell app is that it tracks your streaks. So like how many days in a row have you kept to your word and done your workouts. And because I've never broken my workout streak, I've seen that number go higher and higher, and I really like that feeling. But I love that it focuses on frequency, not intensity. And my workouts, the ones that are assigned to me in the app by Jill, my workouts, even after doing this consistently for over a year, are still about 30 minutes long, sometimes even closer to 20 minutes, especially when I'm in like more the luteal and menstrual phase. And that works for me. My trainer did that intentionally so that we could focus on frequency, not intensity, so that we could focus on that consistent habit of showing up. And that's what you need for habit formation. When it comes to working out, more is not always better. Shorter workouts, especially for beginners and people who are just not that used to working out, is usually better. It's how you create that habit. I'm telling you, all you need is like 20 minutes, like 20-minute workouts to start seeing real major change. And if you're a beginner, once you start focusing on that intensity, it's gonna make it a lot harder to keep up that frequency. But remember, it's frequency that matters, not intensity. If you think that doing one hard workout a week is gonna get you anywhere, it's not. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not gonna get you to your goals. You need to completely shift your mindset from how hard can I go to how consistently can I show up? Now, lastly, let's talk about the neuroscience of habit formation. Every habit, including exercise, follows what researchers call a habit loop, a 3-step neurological pattern that your brain uses to encode behaviors. Here's how the loop works, okay? You've got cue, action, reward, and it's a loop. The cue is your trigger, right? Like seeing your workout clothes sitting on top of your dresser, or hearing your alarm that you set in your calendar. The action is obvious, that's the behavior itself, working out, and the reward is what your brain gets from doing that behavior. This is what makes your brain want to repeat that loop. Here's why most people start and stop working out and can't stick to it. The rewards we actually want with working out are like toned arms, a flatter stomach, feeling better and more confident in our body, more vitality, more energy. Those rewards don't usually come for like at least 6 months. But our brain needs immediate rewards to stick to a habit, right? To close out that loop. And this is why the habit of exercise is especially hard to stick to and be consistent with, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning, there is no reward. That endorphin rush and mental clarity you do get from working out, that helps, but it's usually not enough. It's usually not enough for beginners to register as like a strong reward, right? Like, let's be real. Why is this reward so important? Well, our brains are wired for immediate gratification. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter that drives motivation and reinforces behavior, is released most strongly when we get immediate rewards. The further away the reward, the weaker the dopamine signal. Okay, so that means you need to hack the system and build in immediate rewards, especially in the beginning before those, rewards are even there yet. So what might those rewards be? A killer playlist that you only listen to during your workouts. A delicious matcha or smoothie that you get right after. A slow stretch, or like letting yourself lay out in the sun for 15 minutes afterwards. Calling your best friend during your cool down walk. Checking off your workout in your little planner with your beautiful pen, or checking it off in your habit tracker, or just tracking your streaks like I have in my Trainwell app. Taking a sweaty selfie and posting it on Instagram stories because it gives you a sense of social validation. Whatever works. Whatever makes the experience feel good, either during or right after you finish. Every time you pair the action of working out with something immediately pleasurable, you're strengthening the neural connection that makes that habit automatic and closes out that habit loop. So pick one or several of these rewards, you get to pick them and commit to it. Your brain needs to learn that working out equals immediate good feelings. And once it starts associating that, right, once that connection is strong enough, that habit becomes more automatic. And then eventually, once you do this for like 6 months, you start seeing those more toned arms and those flatter abs, and you start feeling more energized and way more confident in your body. Those become your new rewards. You don't always need a matcha after every single time you work out or something like that, because you have the rewards that you actually really wanted. And by that point, working out is already a part of your identity. But in the beginning though, building out those little rewards and closing out that habit loop bridges the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So these are the 6 science-backed strategies that actually work. Motivation comes from action. Lower your barrier to entry and make your ability high. Get accountability. Drop perfectionism, it's making you a quitter. Focus on frequency over intensity. And lastly, build in immediate rewards. The thing is that Trainwell literally incorporates almost all of these strategies into one solution. It removes the biggest barriers by planning everything for me and adapting to my space. It gives me built-in accountability with a real person, a real trainer who checks in. It prevents the perfectionism trap by customizing my workouts to me based off of my goals and my ability and even the phase I'm in my cycle. It focuses on building frequency with shorter, sustainable workouts, and it even gives me that little immediate reward afterwards by tracking my streaks, giving me that dopamine hit, and having my trainer cheer me on. And that's exactly why I've been able to stick with this for well over a year without missing one single day, because it has all those pieces covered. So I have truly loved using Trainwell for so long. It never gets boring, honestly, because once you do start to get a little bored, you can just tell your trainer and they'll switch it up for you. It's great. And even right now, I'm starting to play tennis. It's like a new hobby that I've gotten into that I really, really enjoy. But tennis is like a lot of cardio, So I talked to Jill about this in our last meeting. I told her how I'm already doing so much tennis. So we basically said that with her workouts, we would take out any of the cardio pieces and just make it very slow, low impact, not trying to push it, since I'm already doing the cardio on the other days. So with Trainwell, you have a literal personal trainer. It's just virtual. So don't miss the 14 days of free training. Just click the link below in the description and they'll have you take a quick quiz to match you up with the best trainer for you. I hope that you got value from this video, and I hope that you were able to understand a bit more into the true psychology and neuroscience behind habit formation, especially building an exercise habit. Now, if you do really want to change your health, your body, the way you look, the way you feel, you can't deny that diet is a massive part of that. So in this video here, I teach you how to finally quit your junk food addiction for good, because trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. So I'll see you over there, or I'll just see you next time in my next video. Bye.